Now!
The city lights flicker outside her new apartment window. But inside it's too quiet to feel safe. Emma had thought moving here would be a fresh start, a modern space, in the heart of the city where she could finally breathe, finally feel secure. But the moment she steps onto the polished wooden floors, a chill snakes down her spine. The apartment smells faintly of dust and something else she can't identify. Boxes are stacked neatly in the corner, yet each seems to cast a shadow that moves when she isn't looking. She shakes her head, telling herself it's just her imagination. After all, who's here? It's a new place, a new life. Nothing could go wrong. Then she hears it. A soft creak, barely audible, like a footstep on the hallway floor behind her. Her body freezes, heart hammering. Slowly she turns, scanning the apartment. Nothing, just the same empty walls, the same stacked boxes. Outside, the city hums, indifferent, but the feeling lingers. Every corner of the apartment suddenly feels unfamiliar. Shadows stretch where there shouldn't be any. The air feels heavier, thicker, like it's pressing in on her. She tries to focus on unpacking, on making this apartment feel like home. But the unease follows her, growing stronger with every passing minute. Night falls. The streetlights outside cast pale, long beams into her living room. That's when the footsteps come. Again, soft, deliberate. One step, pause. Another step, pause, always behind her. She spins around, but no one is there. The sound is impossible, yet undeniable. Emma checks the locks, the windows, even the smoke detectors. Everything is normal. Nothing should be here. Yet the sound persists, echoing through the apartment like it's alive. It mimics her every move. When she stops, it stops. When she walks, it walks. Panic begins to creep in. She tells herself to breathe, to think logically. There must be a rational explanation. Old floors settling, a neighbor above, anything, but deep down she knows it's something else. Something that cannot be explained. Something waiting. By the time she sits on the edge of her bed, the footsteps fade, leaving only the pounding of her own heart. But she knows they're still there, lurking in dark corners, patient, waiting for nightfall to return. And when they do, Emma will realize this apartment isn't just her new home. It's a trap. A place where the walls themselves seem alive, where shadows whisper secrets, and where the echo of something, or someone, is always one step behind. She doesn't yet know it, but her life has changed. Forever. Night has fully fallen. The apartment is cloaked in shadows. The city outside buzzing softly, unaware of what's happening inside. Emma sits on her couch, trying to convince herself that the footsteps she heard earlier were just her imagination. But the silence of the room offers no comfort, only the expectation of something waiting. Then it begins again. Footsteps, soft at first, almost casual, echoing faintly, across the polished wooden floor. 1, pause. 2, pause. They're behind her. Yet when she turns, the room is empty. Her pulse quickens, her hands tremble. The rational part of her mind screams, there's no one here. Yet every fiber of her body insists otherwise. She rises cautiously, moving toward the hallway. The footsteps adjust with her movements. She stops, they stop. She walks, they walk. It's deliberate, calculated, impossible. Her breath comes in shallow gasps as she edges toward the bedroom, eyes darting toward every darkened corner, every shadowed doorway. The apartment feels alive, watching, waiting. Emma grabs a flashlight from the kitchen drawer, her grip tight. The beam cuts through the darkness, illuminating nothing. The air grows colder, heavier. She can hear the faint rhythm of the steps matching her own heartbeat. Panic threatens to overwhelm her, but she forces herself to think. Every step she takes is mirrored by something unseen, something relentless. She approaches the bedroom door and pauses. The footsteps stop. Silence. She exhales, thinking maybe it's over. But then, a whisper. Barely audible yet unmistakable. Her name, Emma. The sound seems to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. She spins, flashlight shaking, illuminating only empty walls. Her own shadow stretches across the floor like a warning. Heart racing, she decides to investigate. She moves into the living room, scanning every corner, checking every reflective surface. Mirrors, windows, the dark space beneath her sofa. Nothing. But the sound of the footsteps resumes. Louder now, closer, echoing in the narrow hallway. They're not random. They're purposeful. They're tracking her. Fear grips her fully. She's not alone. Someone is following her movements. Every instinct screams to run, yet the apartment's layout seems to conspire against her. The footsteps taunt her, keeping perfect rhythm, always one step behind, but she knows it could change in an instant. One misstep, one moment of hesitation, and it could be too late. Emma's mind races. What wants her? Why is it here? Each shadow, each faint creak is magnified, becomes a threat. And then she notices it. The rhythm. The footsteps sometimes mimic her own. They're learning her, anticipating her. She realizes with a sickening clarity that this is not random. This is personal. She backs into a corner. Flashlight trembling in her hands, every nerve screaming. The apartment feels impossibly large and terrifyingly small at the same time. And then she understands. Whatever is following her isn't just outside her control. It is inside it. And it's closer than she ever imagined. The echo of those first footsteps marks the beginning. The game has started, and Emma now knows her life, her sanity, her very being is at stake. The days blur into nights, and the apartment that once felt like a fresh start now feels like a cage. Emma can no longer ignore the footsteps. They've grown louder, more distinct, almost taunting her. One evening, as she moves through the living room, the soft echo behind her grows into a steady, deliberate rhythm. Each step is calculated, precise. When she stops, it stops. When she moves, it moves, always one step behind. Determined to understand what's happening, she sets up cameras in the hallway, living room, and bedroom. She reviews the footage later, heart pounding. Nothing. Empty frames. Shadows shift, objects seem to twitch, but no one is there. Yet the footsteps are undeniable, echoing through her ears even when the apartment is silent. It's as if the apartment itself is alive, breathing, waiting. Every corner she turns, every room she enters, the unease intensifies. Mirrors become portals of dread, reflecting not just her image, but fleeting glimpses of something lurking just behind. The shadows in the hallways stretch longer than they should, shifting in impossible ways. Objects subtly move, books fall, drawers open, doors creak. It's meticulous, deliberate, almost playful in its terror. Emma tries reasoning with herself. Maybe she's stressed, overworked, imagining things. But deep down she knows this is no trick of the mind. There is something here, something intelligent, tracking her movements. The apartment, once a symbol of independence, now feels like a trap, a labyrinth of fear with no escape. One night, as she tiptoes toward the kitchen, the footsteps accelerate, matching her heartbeat. The whispering begins, barely audible, almost teasing. She freezes, listening. Her own name, fragments of conversations she hasn't had yet, and memories that don't make sense. It's as if the entity knows her intimately, watching her every thought, every decision. Driven by a mix of fear and curiosity, she investigates every possible source. The neighbors are oblivious. Every lock, every window is secure. Even the building's security footage shows nothing unusual. The footsteps are confined to her apartment, but they are everywhere, behind walls, under floors, inside her mind. The tension builds to a crescendo. Emma realizes that this is no ordinary haunting. The entity is learning, adapting, evolving. It mirrors her behavior, anticipating her moves, breaking the boundaries between reality and perception. Every shadow could be it. Every creak could be a warning. Every flicker of light a threat. By now, fear has become a constant companion. She walks the apartment cautiously, senses sharpened, nerves fraying. Each step she takes is mirrored by something unseen. The game is no longer subtle. It's relentless. The footsteps are no longer just sounds. They are a presence, a predator stalking her with precision. Emma understands one terrifying truth. To survive, she cannot ignore it. She must face it, understand it, or risk being consumed by the very shadows that now dominate her life. The investigation is no longer about proof. It's about survival. And every heartbeat echoes the warning. The entity is closer than she thinks. The apartment has grown colder, darker, more oppressive. Emma feels it in her bones. The footsteps are no longer just following her. They are anticipating her. Every shadow, every creak, every whisper seems deliberate, personal. She can no longer deny it. Whatever is haunting her is intelligent, aware, patient. One night, as she sits trembling on the edge of her bed, the footsteps begin again. Soft, deliberate, echoing, in perfect rhythm with her heartbeat. But this time, something is different. They're not just behind her, they're inside her mind. Fragments of her own thoughts, fears, and secrets are whispered aloud. Every hesitation, every doubt is mimicked. Emma's breathing quickens as realization strikes. The entity is her, not a stranger, not a ghost from the past. It is her own future self. The footsteps are echoes of the choices she will make, the regrets she will carry. The haunting is not random. It is inevitable. Every step she takes is leading her to a confrontation with herself. Panic threatens to overwhelm her. She tries to flee, to escape the apartment, the building, the city. But the footsteps follow relentlessly, appearing in every corner, every hallway, every shadowed reflection. She catches glimpses in mirrors, her own face, twisted, distorted, grinning unnaturally, watching her with eyes that glow faintly in the dark. The truth is undeniable. She cannot outrun herself. Desperation sets in. Emma begins to trace every memory, every decision, trying to pinpoint the origin, the weakness, the escape. But the entity mirrors her attempts, anticipating every move. It is patient, intelligent, merciless. The apartment that once felt safe now feels like a trap designed specifically for her. Every room a stage for confrontation. Then comes the moment of clarity, the shocking truth. The footsteps, the whispers, the shadows. They are a warning, a record, a reflection of choices not yet made, a future she has the power to change, if she can face it. The horror is not just supernatural. It is psychological, existential. The enemy is herself, and the stakes are her very being. Emma steels herself. She knows the confrontation is inevitable. Every flicker of light, every creak of the floor, every movement in the shadows becomes a prelude to the encounter. The apartment has become a theater of inevitability, a place where past, present, and future collide in the form of relentless footsteps. As she steps into the hallway, she hears them again. One step, pause, another step, closer. The rhythm matches her own, but with a sinister perfection. She knows now she must confront the entity, face the reflection of her own future, or risk being consumed, trapped in the echo forever. The apartment is silent. The city hums outside, but inside every heartbeat, every shadow, every sound is a reminder the footsteps are coming. And this time Emma cannot run. The apartment has become a labyrinth of shadows, every corner alive with anticipation. Emma's heart races as the footsteps grow louder, echoing off the walls in a terrifying rhythm. One step, pause, one step, pause. She knows now the entity is not outside her. It is her, a reflection of choices yet made, a warning of what could come if she fails to confront it. Every instinct screams to run, but she cannot. The apartment's layout seems to conspire against her. Corridors stretching impossibly, shadows shifting unnaturally. Mirrors reflect not just herself, but a distorted, twisted version, grinning, mocking, waiting. Her own heartbeat matches the echoing footsteps, syncing perfectly with the relentless rhythm of her pursuer. Emma steels herself. She knows the confrontation is unavoidable. Every step forward is a battle of will, every flicker of light a prelude to terror. The shadows close in, stretching, crawling along the walls, merging with the floor. The whispers return, louder now, repeating her name, her fears, her regrets. She feels the entity circling, mocking, daring her to face it. Then it appears. A figure emerges from the darkest corner of the hallway, her own face. Twisted, eyes faintly glowing, smile unnaturally wide. The air is cold, thick, almost suffocating. Emma realizes the final test is not escape, it is acknowledgement. The footsteps are a mirror. The whispers are her conscience. To survive, she must confront herself. Confront the choices that created this haunting. The chase begins. She moves through the apartment. Shadows following, twisting, echoing her every step. Mirrors crack as the figure approaches, each fragment reflecting a different possibility, a different outcome. The tension is unbearable, every sound amplified, every heartbeat magnified. The entity mirrors her movements perfectly, a relentless shadow of inevitability. Emma stops in the center of the living room, taking a deep, trembling breath. She raises her hands facing the entity. It hesitates, then mirrors her motion, a perfect, terrifying reflection. She speaks, her voice steady despite the fear, acknowledging her choices, her regrets, her fears. The shadows pause. The footsteps slow. The whispers soften. A moment of silence. The apartment seems to hold its breath. And then the footsteps fade. The shadows recede. The figure before her dissolves, leaving only her own reflection in the cracked mirror. She is alone but changed, wiser, stronger, aware of the consequences of inaction. Yet the apartment remains, quiet, empty, waiting. Emma knows that the echo may return one day, as it always does. But for now, she has survived. She has faced herself. The haunting is over, or at least it has been paused. The city hums outside. The lights flicker. Emma exhales, finally feeling a measure of peace. She has confronted the echo, faced the footsteps that stalked her nights and emerged intact. But the lesson remains clear. Some shadows are not outside us. They are within, waiting for the right moment to follow every step we take. And don't forget to subscribe for more chilling horror stories every week. Like this video if you love suspense-filled thrillers. Comment below, would you survive if footsteps followed you at night?